This is K-2SO. I'll start by saying I don't know much about Star Wars, and I haven't seen the movie where this droid is introduced. I was drawn to this Lego set because I loved the way the robot looks, and I found the parts usage interesting. I wanted to learn the building techniques used in building a large-scale model. What got my attention was how these tire pieces were used for the arms, and I just found this build to have clever parts usage. This is my first Star Wars set, and this upscale model inspired me to build a background for the robot. I thought the box art looked pretty cool and bought this set with the intention of practicing building upscale backgrounds. I first expanded the base he is standing on. I practiced by building the original over and over until the steps made more sense to me and gave me a better idea on how different parts are used and how they come together. Doing that allowed me to alter the original smaller design of the base plate into this larger size base plate. What's cool about this base plate was learning how to get these Technic pins to stick out in order to anchor K-2SO. So for the background, I wanted to create a scene where he's in space inside a room that's part of a spaceship. The first wall I made was this futuristic window view of two different planets. Working our way from top to bottom, I used these trans blue pieces against the wall to give the impression of some lighting. This is the original display plaque that came with the set, and I figured I could use it as a graphic image of his specs displayed on a computer console with some gadgets and buttons surrounding it to make it look like it's part of the command center room. Maybe he's looking up information about himself. This build is not movie accurate. I don't know anything about the character. I just thought he looked cool and wanted to create a background for him. As for the window, I made it oval shaped for a more futuristic spaceship look. I used this moon piece from the Nightmare Before Christmas set to symbolize a planet his spaceship is approaching. I love this piece. If you've seen my previous builds, I tend to use this piece a lot, and I'm so happy I got that set for this. Well, that set came with a lot of cool pieces, but this one is my favorite. These white bar elements are supposed to symbolize lasers shooting his way, and I also included a distant blue planet. For decoration, I added this little minifigure of him that came with the set on the counter to personalize the build more to K-2SO. I normally use printed pieces to symbolize control panels, but when you're building an upscaled model, you have to build the control panel. And I had a lot of fun with that, making buttons, levers, and different display images on the control panel. This color gradient thing I figured maybe symbolized fuel or the temperature of something. You have to get creative and just make the control panel look like it's full of gadgets. The lower portion, I kept it sleek to give the impression of a modern counter using some repetitive square designs. Be prepared to use a lot of big bricks if you want to experiment with building an upscaled model. The next wall I made was the space door, and it's the biggest Lego door I've ever made. I wanted the door to have a story behind it and asked myself, what does this door lead to? I thought maybe it holds cargo and precious space equipment, so I included this sign and added a decorative border. I figured if it's holding valuable cargo, this door would have some sort of security behind it. So I included a camera for surveillance and some buttons and a panel to identify people with clearance to enter. Space is very organized, so I figured the door would have markings, like maybe a number on it. Since robots communicate in binary code, I picked the number 01. I figured the door should have some sort of alarm system for people trying to enter without clearance, so I included these red lights on the side. If I was riding in space, I imagined it might get bumpy and the velocity could pick up at any moment if you're traveling through a wormhole, so I thought the door should have a handle, and that's what this is. Since this door is so high-tech, I included these pipes sticking out to give it an industrial look. I've seen a lot of movies set in space, and futuristic stuff tends to love geometric designs, so I tried to do that with the tiles on the door. I used a lot of slanted pieces and even some rubber bands to create these thinner lines. These aren't Lego rubber bands, they're just hair bands from the dollar store. You can get a huge pack and include these in your builds for some finer details to your MOCs, and that's the space door. This next wall is what really gives this build a story. I asked myself, why is K-2SO in this room to begin with? And that's how I came up with the idea that his spaceship is under attack, and he's seeing the damage. So I made this warning sign that says Red Alert and included a view outside the ship showing the wing of the spacecraft in flames. You can see all these lasers being shot at the spaceship, and this border is supposed to have warning lights with these trans-red studs. I included another control panel where he can do some very important pilot stuff that shows gauges and has levers and just makes the room look more like a control room. Underneath that, I included this caution sign and a first aid kit sign. These are supposed to be counter doors where maybe there's additional items stored. The final touch to this background MOC was building this spaceship railing. I wanted to get more comfortable building with Technic and used Technic beams to build the frame of the railing and included Technic panels for the decoration. You can see I added white rubber bands around the pins to give it a better color scheme and just more detail. I really want to reach a point where Technic parts don't seem as intimidating to me anymore and just want to be able to blend these elements in with my builds. I made the dimensions of this build to fit right inside my bookshelf. K-2SO is very tall, and building these walls at this height required a lot of bricks, but it was so much fun to build upscaled. I think I might create more backgrounds for K-2SO. I do plan on watching the movie just to understand the character better and maybe see a background that is more movie accurate. This background is just based off my imagination. I know Star Wars takes place in space, so I made a space build for him, but I do see myself wanting to build upscaled models as well as minifigure scale. It just takes more bricks and space, and I would have liked to make a bigger room for him. As for K-2SO himself, I was drawn to this set purely for the look, size, and price. I tend to stay away from Star Wars because of how expensive the theme is, but this set was under $100, close to 90 with tax, and I used some of my Lego points to get him cheaper than that. He is a lot of fun to build, and I plan on taking him apart and rebuilding him several times to understand how to make legs, arms, torso, and a head better. It would be cool if I could design my own large-scale figures, and it helps to rebuild your sets over and over to learn why certain parts are used. It helps me understand how to build better and how to alter a design and make it your own. I did it with the base plate and expanded the size. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I know I said I would make a video on Poison Ivy's origin story, and I do plan on doing that. I just got so excited and distracted when I got my hands on this set. It's my first Star Wars set, and I had a blast making this guy, and seriously want to make him again, just to learn the techniques better. Again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more future LEGO MOC videos. Bye for now.